Hey, thank you for taking the time to click on today's video. I wanted to share a personal moment with you that took place not too long ago. It's the middle of December, and all of a sudden, all of our phones start going off. Meteorologists are getting on the television, and they're blabbing on and on about this giant derecho that's going to be coming and hitting the Midwest, and in particular hitting Iowa. So we watch all of this news unfold. We hear about the severity of this storm. And the good news is that literally every conceivable resource was put into play and engaged to make certain that all of us as residents of our small communities were alert to the fact that this storm was coming. If you're not familiar with the derecho, or however they pronounce it, the derecho is just basically gale force winds that could be anywhere from 80 to 110, 120 miles an hour. And they're sustained for a long time, and they come in a very broad path. And of course, we know what recently happened down in Tennessee and Oklahoma, and all the damage the tornadoes had really kind of wreaked in that area. And I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, this is kind of really odd weather to be hitting us in December. And they're calling for not only these winds, but also potential tornadoes. All of the communities did their job. They alerted all their citizens. They blared the tornado sirens to let us all know that it was coming. And I made it home just in time. About 10 minutes later, the power goes out. I get all of my family down into the basement, and that's about when it hits. And you could feel the sheer magnitude of this wind as it came through and it hit the side of the house. You could hear things going on, and you knew that it was going to translate into damage and a lot of cleanup. Well, unfortunately, 5 years ago, I had gone through a tornado that hit our place. And so it was just kind of a reoccurring event. I didn't know how bad it was going to be, but I knew that it was bad enough. We finally come out when it's light enough to be able to see everything, and we kind of take an assessment of the damage, and it was everywhere. Everything from roof damage to siding damage to window damage to tree damage, you name it. Even though we sustained a lot of damage, there was also a lot of neighbors that had it even worse than we did. The point behind the story is this: it is very, very difficult for us in a financial sense to be able to know when a storm is coming. You would like to think that we're going to have, as it were, the financial meteorologists that are able to accurately predict when we're going to have a major pullback in the stock market, when we're going to have a major fall. But you know what? We don't. We just have history, and history dictating and sharing with us what has taken place in history past. We have our gut instinct. And it's for this very reason that when you're dealing with your own financial resources, you need to bear in mind a few things. The first is that the older you are in life and the closer you are into retirement, or closer to retirement or in retirement that you are, the less risk you really want to be taking on with your money. I know that that sounds probably so logical and so basic, but the reality is that so much of Wall Street today is trying to compel us, trying to convince us that it's okay to keep your money in the stock market. I recently met with a woman who is 91 years of age. Her husband is 94. Bless their hearts. They've been married for 72 years. And their stockbrokers have literally at all of their life savings, $500,000 sitting in stocks and mutual funds, convincing them that there was no other place to go with their money. They needed to keep it there. You see, we don't know when these financial storms are going to come, and neither do we know when they're going to come, nor do we understand what the catalyst is going to be. 2020, the catalyst was the unknown about COVID-19. What's the next unknown going to be? What's the next catalyst going to be? So does this mean, Matthew, that you want me to take all my money out of the market? No, not at all. What I'm suggesting, though, is diversification. Diversification is the thing that allows you the ability of being able to weather these financial storms that come, whenever they come, knowing that you've got a percentage of your money that is in the market, but a percentage of money in the market that you know that if you lost, say, half of it, which we've seen not once but twice, you're going to financially survive. Having your money in a position, owning instruments that are going to create interest and dividends for you, that reduces your risk, because it allows you the opportunity of being able to have the income you need to pay the bills while you're in the midst of the storm. And then last but not least, making certain that you have part of your money absolutely, totally insured. Your money insured and protected, money that isn't in the market, money that isn't affected and is subject to loss. This is the way in which we prudently and financially survive the financial storms that are going to be thrown at us. So if anything, look to nature and the lessons that it can teach us, and then apply them to your own financial playbook so that you too can remain safe during these storms. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, it's up to you to make today a great day. If I can ask you one last favor, if you've enjoyed these videos, please give us a thumbs up. Please share this with your friends. And also, if you like our little videos and you haven't done it yet, I encourage you, click on the button to subscribe and then hit that little bell, and you'll be reminded every time we have a new weekly video. Thanks so much for watching. I'm Matthew Johnson.